Welcome to Nigerian Swipe Films. Today's movie is Hotel La Bamba, a Nigerian Nollywood film. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tell me what you think about this video in the comment section below.
The film starts off with Big Bere sitting surrounded by the hotel workers and a security man holding onto his neck. It's a commotion. He's been accused of killing his girlfriend Ella. He insists that he isn't the culprit. Chuba, a newly checked-in hotel guest, walks up to the crowd and tells them to call the police instead of taking the law into their own hands. Big Bere says don't call the police, but the crowd tells him if he has nothing to fear, then he shouldn't be worried. The movie then takes us on a flashback to 5 days earlier before the incident. Uzumba, the hotel manager, is walking around the premises. He's taking notes of items that need maintenance. He gets a call from his boss to make arrangements for his visit to the hotel on Saturday. The rooms are all occupied, Uzumba tells his boss, but his boss tells him to handle it that he's the hotel manager. Big Berry and his girlfriend Ella and some of his other friends are lodged in their room in the hotel. They're making a lot of noise and they're partying loudly. Back at the reception, Carol, the receptionist, tells Kasura, a cleaner who is with her, to go and check for Halil, a man who checked in earlier that day. She's thinking about Halil and talking about him because she considers him her type and that he's very attractive. Kasura, the cleaner, tells her to stop dreaming and be realistic and not to let the hotel manager hear her talking about chasing after a customer. In the next scene, Kasura is hiding behind a wall. She takes out a gold watch from her pocket, a watch she had stolen while doing room cleaning services. She hides it in the floor in a hole that she had made. The next scene is at the hotel lounge. Big Berry, Ella, his girlfriend, and some of his other friends, and Daniel and his wife Pearl are drinking, smoking, and gathered around the TV watching a football match. The next is that they are at the hotel club and they're having fun, they're partying. Daniel and his wife Pearl didn't join these festivities. They're back in their hotel room and they're making out. They take a pause and complain about the noise from the club going on downstairs. Daniel goes to the hotel lounge where Carol is dancing, trying to seduce Halil. Daniel interrupts her dancing and tells her that the noise is disturbing him and his wife and other hotel guests. Halil then offers to talk to Big Berry about the noise on his behalf. Halil asks Big Berry if he can reduce the noise that is bothering other hotel guests. Big Berry calls Scody, his girlfriend, and other of his friends for them to move to a club outside the hotel so that they can stop disturbing other guests. Ella, his girlfriend, tells him that she doesn't feel too well and she's having a headache and she doesn't want to go and that they should continue without her. Big Berry offers to stay back with her, but she tells him not to worry and to go on and have fun with their friends. The next morning, Ella and Lide, her friend, are on a phone call. They are talking about the gifts Big Berry got Ella. Lide asks Ella what exactly does Big Berry do to make all this money. And then Ella says she doesn't know and she doesn't really care. In my opinion, that's extremely reckless and dangerous. Lide changes the topic to ask Ella about the guy she says that she wants to introduce her to. The man in question is Halil. Ella tells Lide to stop by the hotel after work. Big Berry comes in after the phone call and he's bringing Ella a breakfast tray surprise. Ella gushes and she's happy. She takes a picture with the tray and then with Big Berry also to post on her Instagram later. On his way out to work, Halil gives staff members he comes across with wads of naira and they thank him joyfully. We then see in the next scene, Daniel and his wife Pearl are sitting by the poolside and Ella and Big Berry are sitting at another table too by the poolside. Halil has returned from work and he's dancing joyfully. He grabs Carol, the receptionist, into a big hug in excitement and then tells her that she has secured a contract while at work. The next morning, Kasura, the cleaner, is outside the staff quarters. She's yelling for Tuesday, a security guard. Tuesday comes out and then she tells him that Big Berry's girlfriend Ella has been found dead in their hotel room. Back in the hotel, in Daniel and Pearl's room, they are quickly packing to exit the hotel before the police comes and they are somehow dragged into the case. As they're about to drive out of the premises, the police is already outside the gate and now no one can leave anymore. Police officer take a quick look under the white sheets to confirm that Ella is dead. Then an officer asks Carol, the receptionist who is with them, that they want to speak to her manager. Uzumba, the manager, comes in and then asks who reported the death, and then an officer says that they received the reports. The movie briefly flashes us back to that morning when Tuesday called his girlfriend, a small restaurant owner, to tell her about what has happened. His girlfriend is shouting on the line, and then an officer who is eating at her restaurant, a female officer called Yema, then asks her what is going on. The lady now says that it's an internet fraudster's girlfriend who was just found dead at the hotel that her boyfriend works in. Yema, the officer, now asks for the hotel name, and the lady tells her it's called Hotel La Bamba. Yema excuses herself and then calls her boss and informs her about the situation. The flashback ends and we're back in the hotel room now. An officer introduces herself as Detective Zizi of the SIU unit. And then Ozumba, the manager, tries to say that Ella died of natural causes. Then another hotel staff barges in at that moment and says that Big Berry has disappeared. Ozumba then tells Detective Zizi that Big Berry was the man that was lodged with Ella at the hotel. The detective and everyone else gets to the entrance and sees Yema, the other police officer who reported the case, exchanging words with Big Berry. The detective announces the closure of the hotel and the movement of everyone on the premises to the police station for interrogation. During this, Ozumba exclaims that this is a hotel and they have a business to run, which is very insensitive in my opinion because somebody literally just died on the premises. Inside the reception, there's so much commotion from other hotel guests over being held against their will and unable to leave the premises. The officers shout over the noise and everybody quiets down. Detective Zizi asks for hotel CCTV footage and Ozumba tells her that they aren't working, so they are none available. In order to incentivize the detective and prevent this information from leaking out and damaging the hotel's reputation, Ozumba asks the detective to please conclude the investigation before Friday and that they have hotel rooms available and uninterrupted power supply and Wi-Fi so that the detective can stay in the hotel and carry out an investigation instead. Everyone in the hotel is now moved into one conference room. Back in the room of the crime, Zizi takes pics of Ella's dead body and then requests for an ambulance. In another private room, Zizi and Yema are interrogating Big Berry. It turns out that Big Berry doesn't even know much about Ella and they had just started dating about 2 weeks ago. He then tells them to check her IG and phone for more information about her. He doesn't even know her full name. They tell him that they couldn't find her phone, and then he says that it's not possible because so far, Ella and her phone have been like 5 and 6, always together. After some search, Zizi and Yema were able to reach Ella's sister, who then informed them that she wasn't even aware of someone called Big Berry. The officers tried to ask Big Berry for more information, and then he mentions that he just flew in from Cyprus to see Ella like 7 to 10 days ago. Yema and Zizi then ask Big Berry if Ella had any illnesses. He briefly mentions the headache that Ella complained about on Monday nights. Officers keep asking more questions and pressing him, and then he's starting to get annoyed. He then says that he's an international businessman from North Cyprus. The detective snaps back at him if he thinks that she's a fool. The officers carry out more investigations. They interview other members around. They are trying to corroborate Big Berry's story, but everybody has a little bit of differences in all their stories of what happened on the day of Ella's death. While interrogating Pearl, Daniel's wife, she accidentally says I didn't kill her because of that and then shuts up immediately. The room is quiet and the officers are looking at her in shock. Then Zizi asks her why she killed her then. Pearl backtracks and said that she didn't kill her. Through more investigations, Zizi discovers that Ella had an intense argument with Pearl on the afternoon of her death. During her investigation, Zizi discovers many more revelations. She discovered that Ella also had a squabble with Big Berry on the day of her death. She discovers that Daniel, Pearl's husband, had a second secret Instagram account where he was following IG buddies and Ella included. She also discovered that Ella, Big Berry's girlfriend, was twerking and dancing on Halil at the party that Halil threw the day of her death. She'd also discovered that Halil had checked out that morning before the arrival of the police. She discovered that when checking into the hotel, Halil didn't put his address, his correct phone number, or submit his ID card when he was writing and filling in the details. He was flirting with Carol, the receptionist, which distracted her from doing her job and paying attention to the details that he was putting down. She also found out that no one that he had interacted with throughout his stay at the hotel had any way of reaching him. No pictures, no number, nothing. He's starting to look like the number one suspect in my eyes. Everyone is back in the conference room now, and Detective Zizi attempts to call Ella's phone. The phone starts to ring, but it's ringing on Kasura's body, the cleaner. She's made to bring out the phone and everyone stares at her in shock. Kasura starts to beg and reveals that she just found the phone in Mr. Halil's room and then she stole it, that she did not kill Ella. Detective Zizi complains, frustrated, that there's no CCTV, no cameras around the hotel streets, nothing she can use to find Halil, who's looking like the number one suspect at the moment. Yema tells her boss Zizi that she can attempt to draw Halil based on the descriptions of the people at the hotel who saw him. The drawing turned out to be absolute rubbish. Back in Laide's apartment, Ella's friend, she sends Ella a VM saying Uche, Ella's real babe, has been calling her trying to reach Ella. Laide tells Ella not to throw away a good thing because of her greediness and selfishness and chasing monies. The next morning, Zizi goes to the hospital to get the autopsy of Ella's body. The doctor informs her that she died of asphyxiation, strangling, suffocation, and that she had sex approximately 8 hours before she died. Now in the police station, Zizi's boss is attempting to replace her in the investigation, but doesn't after she pleads with him. The news of Ella's death had been leaked and is now on online media platforms. Zizi discovers from staff that Halil and Ella had had drinks at the bar on the day of her death and they left together afterwards. More revelations come to light that Ella was dancing and twerking on Halil in front of Big Berry at the celebratory party that Halil threw. It's also revealed that Ella had slapped Big Berry after he confronted her about dancing with Halil. After Ella and Big Berry stormed out after their altercation, Halil refused to dance with Carol after she tried to dance with him. After all this, after a while, Zizi allows Ozumba, the manager, to retrieve the phones of his staff to put the hotel back online after it was shut down 2 days earlier. More revelations follow and it's discovered that Halil's real name is actually James and he's a liar and a thief. He stole the number he used at the hotel. It was a SIM that he had stolen from a party he attended a while ago. The name Halil turns out to belong to the owner of the SIM. The real Mr. Halil gets contacted and is invited to the hotel. He then helps Detective Zizi to get the real number of James. Zizi asks one of her colleagues to track down James using his BVN. Zizi finally gets a hold of James and brings him in for questioning. After various threats, he finally confesses. He says that him and Ella had a makeout session on Monday morning, the night she complained of a headache. It's also revealed that the night of James's party, after Ella argued with her boyfriend Big Berry, she met James at the hotel lounge and then he sent her 1.5 million naira to cheer her up, and then they went back to his room to have sex. Before they had sex, Ella had left to get a condom, and then when she returned, she saw him holding a kind of figure or an item, and then she started screaming because she thought he was a ritualist. James, in an attempt to calm down her screaming, had grabbed her and threw her on the bed and then used a pillow to cover her mouth. It was during that she suffocated and died. When he lifted up the pillow, he panicked as he realized that he had killed her, and then he quickly carried her back to her and Big Berry's room. After his confession, James is finally arrested as the killer by Detective Zizi. Zizi then releases everyone else in the conference room and tells them that the case has been solved and they should go about their business. Thank you for watching this video.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and tell me what you think about this video in the comment section below.